mansion in LA. Think of being frightened when entering a creepy haunted house, thinking that someone's going to pop out and scare you. As a close relative of mine who suffers from this disorder, it is sad to see someone you love disappear and turn into a different type of person. Schizophrenia is a mental disorder that can be frightening and damaging. First, I'll talk about what schizophrenia is. Second, I'll talk about the two types of schizophrenia. And lastly, I'll talk about the main type of schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a mental disorder which a person loses in touch with reality. This is the first symptom of noticing this person who has this type. This type of mental disorder has no cure but can be treated. Schizophrenia is serious and needs proper supervision for this disorder like this. Therapy and counseling and seeking a psychiatrist are ways for a schizophrenic person to return to themselves. A schizophrenic person often has excuses to not get better. That person could lie or forget or even reject the medication. As stated by a book called Diagnosis Schizophrenia, describes how important it is for a person to have proper care. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, about 64.3% of adults with schizophrenia use any service, including healthcare. The way how schizophrenia forms is throughout the brain or even genetics. Schizophrenia can lead into families, and often that's a way it could be passed on. Another way a schizophrenia starts is throughout the role of the brain. According to Jude Gustafson of Iowa Now, describes how a psychiatrist named Nancy Anderson researched and tested how schizophrenia forms by the loss of brain tissue. To illustrate this, most people wonder how it forms. Usually in our brains, there's a chemical that stores in our brain that forms the way for us to learn, act, and talk, which a schizophrenic person lacks. Now that I've discussed what schizophrenia is, I'll talk about the three different main types. Catatonic and disorganized schizophrenia are the two types. Catatonic is simply a rare symptom, but it's mostly about a person thinking that someone's going to harm them. As stated in a book called Discovering Psychology, a schizophrenic person states that it's episode and it's not a symptom. This episode can last to a month if not treated on time. This case of schizophrenia can be impacted emotionally due to the fact that only meditating and being patient is the only way of noticing and seeking medical help. According to the same book, Discovering Psychology, describes that catatonic symptoms could be a person that can't move, speak, or hold a blank stare, or rigid pose, or even panic. As stated by healthguide.org, states that it's difficult to fathom if the person is blank and emotionless. Disorganized schizophrenia is another type of main type. It's simply just the way how that person lacks their daily necessities. Their disorganized life is so attached to them that it's hard for them to get back on track. For example, some of the symptoms of this type, schizophrenia can be disorganized speech, behavior, silliness, or laughing for no apparent reason. According to Kristen Nurkovich on Medical News Today, states that it is the most severe type of schizophrenia, as a person can't perform daily activities such as cooking and hygiene. Now I've discussed the two types of schizophrenia. I'll discuss the main type. Paranoid schizophrenia is the main type and common throughout schizophrenia. Paranoid simply means that a person thinks that someone's trying to harm them. It is common and is very difficult to medical professionals. This disease is tough and it's hard to diagnose this type of form, as a person may look normal. According to bluepage.org, the first signs of this symptom could appear throughout the ages of 15 to 24. Hallucinations and delusions are the symptoms for this type. Hallucinations simply just Hallucination is simply just a way that a person might feel that something feels that there's a smell or even taste, or thinks that something is out there that isn't part of it. The term delusion is simply they just believe in anything. For example, I visited a psychiatric hospital, and I noticed that a patient there thought that someone was smoking marijuana throughout the hallway. So that's one way of how they think the smell, or they believe that it's there. In conclusion, today I've discussed what the meaning of schizophrenia is. Today I discussed what the two types of schizophrenia are. Finally, I've discussed the main type of schizophrenia is. Schizophrenia is a mental disorder that has three types: catatonic, disorganized, and paranoid. Schizophrenia has its ups and downs. In the mind of psychology, it is not funny and it's serious, knowing that it can impact your loved one.